Hi, I'm Debbie with DebbieBrownQuilts.com, and I am so excited to tell you about my new Color Block Right Triangle tool. It's going to trim your color block. It's also going to turn it into a chunky right triangle with a bonus block. Let me show you how. One use for the Color Block's Right Triangle tool is to square up your pieced blocks. Find the middle mark in the middle of the ruler and place it on the middle of your block. Then you can confirm that your block is square. If it's not, you can trim off just those little excess pieces. Turn the block and do the other two sides. That block looks good and it's ready to go. To make a right angle triangle, you start with a trimmed color block, and then you add a 7-inch square of background fabric, aligning the top and side edges at the top corner. When you place your color block ruler on, the dotted line should match up with your 7-inch square, and you can trim right on this angle. Then you're going to go to your machine, sew a 1/4 inch down this side, very carefully since this is cut on the bias. And for fun, do the same thing on this bonus triangle that has been cut off the edge. So you're going to end up sewing 2 seams and getting 2 squares. Once you've sewn your seam, press it so the seam is toward the background, and we're going to bring it back in and trim it again. So I'm going to line the center up and check to make sure that this is the right size. It is. Sometimes there's a little extra fabric you'll need to trim away. These blocks have been designed so you're not sewing through those center seams and you don't have to match anything. So this should be hanging out in the middle of nowhere. Then you can bring in that bonus triangle that you cut and sewed together. Again, you're not sewing through the points of any seams, so you don't have to match anything. But now I want to trim this down to a useful size. I'm going to take my right triangle tool and I'm going to line up the diagonal line on the seam line. I also have block lines here, so I want to make sure that these block lines are inside of the block. I'm going to trim 2 sides, flip the block. I'm going to line up again, but this time I want my diagonal on the seam and I want those 2 trimming lines here on the cut edges of my block. I now have a 6-inch half square triangle block to use in a future project.